Ladies and gentlemen, your host for Come Dancing 1989, Angela Rippon.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a very warm welcome to this, the 40th year of Come Dancing. Just think. When this program started in 1949, there was only one television channel and everything was in black and white. And here we are now with one of the most glamorous and certainly most colourful programs on television. But you know, in those 40 years, there are one or two things that haven't changed, and I'm delighted to say that this remarkable ballroom that lies beneath the famous tower in Blackpool has not lost any of its charm or unique charisma in all of that time. And this is the setting for our competition. And we begin tonight by meeting the team that is the reigning Come Dancing champion, and that is Midlands and West. And they're going to be dancing against a team that made it to the semi-finals last year, representing the North East. And as always, my colleague Charles Nove is on hand to give us lots of background information to all the dancers as we meet them. Well, let's not waste any more time and get right on with the competition. We start with the Latin section. Our first dance is the jive, and already on the floor, ready to dance for Midlands and West, we welcome Darren Lucas and Lorna Dawson. For the North East, Christopher Stevenson and Kirsten Einarsson. Well, it's that great Jackie Wilson hit, Reet Petite, that's going to provide the musical accompaniment for our dancers, with the orchestra and chorus under the direction of who else but our musical director, Andy Ross.
It's a partnership of just 6 months for Christopher Stevenson and Kirsten Einarsson. Christopher comes from Washington, Tyne and Weir. Kirsten from somewhere further afield, a town called Kopervik in Norway. She's 16 years old and moved to Britain at the end of last year in search of a higher standard of partner than she could find in Norway. So far, Christopher and Kirsten have made the finals of the British Youth Latin competition and the semi-finals of the British Amateur Latin. We may be in our 40th anniversary series on Come Dancing, but for these two, it's just their second appearance. Darren Lucas and Lorna Dawson are both 18. He works for a road haulage company. She's a student of fashion and design. Just recently, they've won the closed British Youth Latin competition.
Well, now she's my cutie, my tutti frutti, my heart, my soul, my faith and beauty. She's all right. She got just what it takes. She's got what it takes, and with me she really brings. Oh, 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 oh. Reet Petite, the finest girl you ever wanna meet. Reet Petite, the finest girl you ever wanna meet. Reet Petite, the finest girl you ever wanna meet.
Well, the exciting and energetic jive gets us underway. But before we move on to the second dance in this section, I really must introduce you to our panel of judges. They are for this evening Michael Hausman, Pat Thompson and Jack Briggs. And the second dance in this section that our judges are going to have to look at is the cha-cha on the floor, ready to dance for Midlands and West. Will you welcome, please, Neil Oliver and Paula Graves. For the North East, Mark Evans and Tracy Davis.
Third time around on Come Dancing for Neil Oliver and Paula Graves. Neil's 25, a keen musician and singer from Basildon in Essex. Paula's 24, a beauty consultant from Glossop in Derbyshire. Once they've competed here tonight, they're off to Toulouse for their next competition. Neil and Paula's recent successes include winning the East German Championships in Berlin, and at home, the West London and Thames Latin Championships. Mark Evans used to dance for Wales, but he's now firmly ensconced as part of the North East side. This is Mark's third Come Dancing. He's 22, a maintainer of gardens in Cheshire. Tracy Davis is 20 and on the show for the first time. She's starting her own clothing business in Stockton-on-Tees. Mark and Tracy are the Scunthorpe Latin champions and the current Welsh Ten Dance champions.
Tommy Dorsey's Tea for Two Cha-Cha bringing our Latin section to a close. Well, the judge that's been casting an expert eye over the dancers is Pat Thompson, so let's go over to her to find out how she scored those dances. Pat, can we have your marks, please, first of all, for the jive?
For the Midlands and West, I award 2 points, and for the North East, I award 1 point.
And your marks for the cha-cha, please.
In the Cha-Cha, I award Midlands and West 2 points, and the North East 1 point.
Which means that at the end of that first section, the score looks like this. Midlands and West have 4 points, and the North East have 2 points. Well, we have a change of tempo now from the Latin rhythms to the modern section, and our first dance.
Paul Holmes and Kate Fisher are the North of England modern champions. It's a title they won just recently at the Winter Gardens here in Blackpool. They've been on the move recently, leaving their home city of Birmingham and making a new home in Guildford in Surrey, so they can be nearer to the particular training and coaching facilities they need. Paul and Kate have been busy competing as far afield as Germany and Hungary, and in the American Championships in Miami. And if you were watching the UK Dance Championships earlier in the year, you'll have seen them make the finals of the Amateur Modern. Adrian Taylor is a sales representative, Amanda Thomas a secretary, both from Wrexham. But those occupations are just about to change to professional dancer, as Adrian and Amanda are planning to take that big step from amateur to professional status very shortly. So it's the 9th and the last appearance on Come Dancing for these two, former Open Yorkshire, Pennine and Merseyside modern champions.
Well, from the smooth elegance of the waltz, we're going to up the tempo a little for this second dance in this section, the quick step. And so to Benny Goodman's Sing, Sing, Sing. Here to dance, dance, dance for Midlands and West, we have Alan Shingler and Leslie Smythe. And for the North East, Mark Plant and Melanie Scott.
Mark Plant is a tailor, and in fact several examples of his work are appearing on the floor tonight, his own suit included, and that of his Midlands and West opponent. Mark is 22, his partner Melanie Scott is 17. They've been dancing together since the start of 1989, and their first competition together was the North West Championship, which they won. Alan Shingler and Leslie Smythe have been dancing together for just 6 months, during which they've made the finals of the closed British modern competition and been runners-up in the North of England Championship. Leslie has a good dancing ancestry. Her parents represented Midlands and West in the modern section on Come Dancing in 1964, 65 and 66. So Leslie is proudly keeping up the tradition.
Great arrangement, and that lively quick step brings the modern section to a close. So let's go right over to Michael Hausman, who's the judge for this section, and see what he's done about the marks. Michael, first of all, your marks for the waltz.
In the waltz, I award the Midlands and West 2 points and the North East 1 point.
And your marks for the quick step, please, Michael.
And for the quick step, I award the Midlands and West 2 points and the North East 1 point.
Thank you, Michael. That means that at this stage of the competition, the Midlands and West have a total of 8 points, while the North East have 4 points. Well, now we come to the offbeat or the free dance section. Now, good choreography, choice of music, and entertainment value all score very highly in this section. And the team that's dancing for Midlands and West have demonstrated all of those qualities in the past, so we can ensure that we're going to get a very exciting routine from the team that comes from Plymouth, the TJs.
Last year, the TJs gave us all that jazz. This year, they offer an insight into what the well-dressed ghoul is wearing. The team of sevens, based in the dead centre of Plymouth, led by Sally Dunn. She's the lady who's just been roused from her slumbers in that coffin. And Sally's sister, Lulu, is the nice girl in the dungarees. She only wanted a quiet walk in the park. Now look at the mess she's in.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dawn. Under the moonlight, you see yourself and it almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause it's a thriller, thriller night, and no one's gonna hide you from the beast about to strike. You know it's thriller, a thriller night. You're fighting for your life inside a killer thriller tonight. Yeah. Do you hear the door slam?
Although you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver. For no mere mortal can resist the evil of the
Well, with their thrilling Michael Jackson routine, that was the TJs dancing for Midlands and West. But now for something completely different. Dancing to the music of the Arabian Nights, will you welcome, please, for the Northeast, the Nigel Scott Dancers.
Last year, Nigel Scott brought us the Monster Mash. This year, he's opted for the more glamorous life of a pharaoh. This routine was going to be called Tutankhamun and Cleopatra, but fear of the curse of the mummy's tomb led them to call it Arabian Nights instead. That's Nigel Scott, resplendent in the golden garb at the front there, and his former dance partner Joanne Grundy is playing his queen. The team's 14 strong, aged from 16 upwards, and they're hoping for a cabaret tour of Germany shortly. Who knows, they could be coming to a pyramid near you soon.
about dancers representing the Northeast? Well, there's absolutely no one that we could ask to judge this section better, I think, than 5 times world professional Latin American dance champions Donnie Burns and Gaynor Fairweather. What do you think about this makeup and these costumes then? It's pretty terrific, isn't it?
Tremendous, the amount of effort that's been put into it, isn't it, Gaynor?
Yes, I think it's very theatrical and the kids have done extremely well.
What did you think about tonight's performances?
Well, I think with the brilliance of Michael Jackson, both in his dancing and his singing, I think you can't really go far wrong. And I think the Midlands and West did a super job to portray the number like they did.
Yeah. And on the other hand, the Northeast had so many people, we could see it from above, doing such diverse choreography, which was difficult and all part of a central theme. So it was very difficult to judge, really. Honestly.
Difficult to judge, but obviously you had to. So how have you apportioned the points?
Here we go. Midlands and West, 5 points. Northeast, 4 points.
And that means that the score so far in the competition looks like this. The Midlands and West have 13 points, the Northeast have 8. Well, now we move on to the 4th section of our competition, which is the old time, and we begin with the lovely Lola Tango. And dancing, first of all, for Midlands and West, we have Mark Herring and Delia Crossley. For the Northeast, Michael Habergam and Rachel Simpson.
Mark Herring is 18, Delia Crossley 17. They've been partners for 4 years, though this is the first time we've seen them. Mark's a student in Yate, near Bristol. Delia a bank clerk in Hitchin, Hertfordshire. They're United Kingdom Youth Old Time Champions and Staffordshire and West of England Old Time Champions. Habergam, this is about his 10th come dancing, though he thinks he might have lost count somewhere along the way. It's his second with Rachel Simpson, who's a former member of the Northwest side. Michael's from Halifax, Rachel from Penistone near Sheffield. They're Yorkshire Old Time and Modern Sequence champions, and the British Modern Sequence champions.
After that, we're going to have to clear the floor pretty quickly so that Andy Ross can musically usher on to the floor the whole of the light cavalry, which is our musical accompaniment for the military two-step. And already on the floor, standing to attention and ready to dance from Midlands and West, we have Gary Ryan and Julie Perry. And for the Northeast, Jeremy Booth and Helen Blackburn.
And it's a first appearance here for Jeremy Booth and Helen Blackburn. They've danced together for 2.5 years. Jeremy is 23 from Barnsley, Helen's 18 from Leeds. They've made the semi-finals of the British Old Time Championships and the British Modern Sequence Championships. the current United Kingdom old-time champions, Gary Ryan and Julie Perry. Gary making his 7th Come Dancing appearance. He first competed on the show in the days when the presenter's chair was occupied by a certain Mr. Wogan. Gary hails from Dublin, though for the last 4 years he's been firmly anchored in the West Midlands. Gary and Julie currently hold the National Velita title and many an area championship, and they just recently got married, so congratulations to them.
Well, the military two-step concludes tonight's old-time section, so let's right away ask Jack Briggs, who's the judge for this section, to give us his marks. Jack, first of all, your marks, please, for the Lola Tango.
For the Lola Tango, to Midlands and West, I award 1 point. To the Northeast, 2 points.
And now for the military two-step.
And for the military two-step, to Midlands and West, I award 2 points, and to the Northeast, 1 point.
Well, that means that the overall score is now standing at 16 points to Midlands and West and 11 to the Northeast. Well, of course, we still have the formation teams to come, but before we meet them, we thought that you and our dancers might like the opportunity of just sitting back and enjoying the very considerable talents of the 5 times World Latin American Professional Dance Champions, Donnie Burns and Gaynor Fairweather. Now, for this series, they've teamed up with 2 very fine American cabaret dancers, Ronnie Montez and his partner, Liz Curtis. And this week, in company with Andy Ross, they're all going to indulge in a little mambo-jambo. Well, now back to tonight's competition, but before we do, let's just take a rain check on how the score stands at the moment. And it is that Midlands and West have 16 points, while the North East have 11. And we come now to the final section of this evening's competition, the formation dancing. And we welcome onto the floor, first of all, the reigning Come Dancing champions, the team who are representing Midlands and West, the Derbyshire Latin team.
The Derbyshire Latin team entertaining us for the 5th year in a row, although the team has sprouted 7 new members since last year. The routine we're watching is a brand new one, being seen for the first time on TV. It's based loosely on West Side Story, and they've spent a long time developing and rehearsing it in what trainer Jean Graves describes as a cooperative effort.
Tonight won't be just any night. Tonight there will be no morning apricot or two, hey!
She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was as nervous as she could be. She was afraid to come out of the locker. She was afraid that somebody would see.
2, 3, 4, tell the people what she wore.
Tonight won't be just any night. Tonight there will be no morning star.
2, 3, 4, stick around, I'll tell you more.
It was an itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted to stay. Walked through a party in county jail. The big band sang and they began to wail. Band was jumping and the drum began to swing. Shoot ahead and knocked out jailbird, sing let rock. Everybody let rock. Everybody in the wholesale block was dancing to the jailhouse rock. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the wholesale block was dancing to the jailhouse rock.
Place for us, somewhere a place for us. Hold my
Jean Graves, that was the Derbyshire Latin formation team. Well, it's the Northeast who have the last dance this week. They've chosen a selection of music from South Pacific. So will you welcome onto the floor, please, dancing for the Northeast.